Does your ADHD cause you to neglect your home? Do you find yourself under a never-ending pile of clutter? Today I'm going to show you guys how you can overcome this issue and how you can start to get organized in your own home and how to tackle the clutter once and for all. And what I suggest to you guys is perhaps take some notes on a pen and paper, write it down as you're watching the video and stick it up on a notice board, or just put it somewhere visible, magnetize it to your fridge, and try and follow these instructions and do that to your everyday life and you can start to see improvements. So here we go. Tip number 1. Okay, so this is what I would do. If I needed to clean out a room and make it a priority, but it was a big job, I'd put it on my calendar here. Now this is what I suggest you do. Notice that my calendar is just by the door. This is my bedroom. So this way, whenever I wake up in the morning, I can see straight away from where I'm lying down over there, the week structure looks like. So notice I've got my pen here as well. So I blue tacked it to the doorpost here. Then I can instantly just make a mark on it and it'll just be really quick and easy for me to access. I can just do it straight away without having to hesitate. Here's an example. So you can really see that I use this calendar quite a lot. I tend to cross off the days once I've completed certain tasks and deadlines, and I just try to cross the days off as I go so I can keep track. So say for instance I wanted to tidy up a room, do an overhaul, and I needed to dedicate a day to it or dedicate some time to it. And say like on the weekend I want to sort of tackle that room. I can put here, say on the Sunday, clean room, and let's pick a time, say like 10 till 11 a.m. So that's 1 hour right there. I'm going to circle it because it's important. You're going to want to just make that a priority, and you can time yourself. Set an alarm, put it in that room that you're working on. Then once it's done, leave, walk away, finish it off at another time. Just put it on your calendar. If it's a big job and it takes a lot of energy, you don't have to do it all in one go, like on one day. You can do it, say, here. You can do a bit Saturday, a bit Sunday, then maybe the next weekend, like that. Break it up. If it's easier for you in that way, then do that. Some people, once they get into the swing of it, they find it easy just to do it all in one go. I prefer to do things in small chunks, but I've definitely had moments in my life where it's been easier for me to just get obsessively involved in something. And that would be when you're hyper-focusing. You can really annihilate a task if you have like a specific emotional tie to it. And that's a lot of what we're trying to overcome is it's the apathy. It's the lack of emotional involvement which gets us to motivate ourselves, because it's the lack of motivation is what stops us from achieving things. So it stops us from being interested and getting involved in tasks. And, you need to try and leverage ways to do it. If you can't get motivated, I suggest that you do just break it up into small bits. Tip number 2, black bags. Black bags are going to be your friend in this case, so that you can bag up all the excess clutter and unused items that are just lying around your house and taking up space. Because when you get rid of things that are just eating up space and they just don't need to be there, it's just going to make things a lot harder for you to stay on top of it. And if you can just eradicate these things in the first place, you'll have one less thing to worry about and one less thing to stay on top of. You generally know how it goes when you tend to accumulate lots of clutter, lots of household items, and things just sort of start getting spread across tables, spread all across the house, and it just starts to build up and it becomes out of control, right? Well, the reason why this is happening is because your brain is not really making it a priority because of that ADHD lack of urgency that happens inside the mind. So you procrastinate and you put things off, and you know in the back of your mind that it needs to be done, but your ADHD brain is immensely talented at putting it off and just finding other things to focus on, just to push it to one side. Part of life is learning to overcome difficulties and responsibility. We've really got to tackle things while the iron is hot. So try to strike while the iron is hot. When you have that motivation, get as much out of it as you can then and there. That's the key. And don't forget that if you do this, you can reward yourself as compensation for doing the work. So it creates the incentive in your mind. And that's what you need as an ADHD person, is that motivation. It's something to snap you out of that inattentive mindset and to feel inspired to do it. The way you can do this is just by looking at things like, there's that program on Netflix of that Japanese lady who cleans houses. I can't remember the name of the show. Put it down in the comments below if you remember it. It's a good show. Lots of useful tips in there about storage and organisation for your house. Just check out other YouTube videos. There's other people out there that are experts at it and they can just give you some solid advice. The fact is, you want to get psyched up for it, you want to feel inspired. And finally, step 3. So this is a kind of box I'd get typically from my local arts and crafts store, or you can get it from places like, I mean, here in the UK we have The Range, Tesco, Asda. I'm not sure about the US, but I'd imagine in Walmart they probably have something like this. And they're very cheap, reasonable, and quite sturdy. This is quite a narrow one, but it's ideal for little things like files, documents, and little trinkets. There's some things in here I need to sift through and throw out, but I've got a lot of paper here and sort of crafts stuff. Obviously I need to sift through some of this some more because I've got excess stuff. I don't need 3 glue sticks there, but you know, it's an ongoing process. So the more I can get out of the boxes, the better, and I suggest you try and do the same. So again, use those black bags and try to sift through the things that just aren't necessary, things that you have multiple or duplicates of, and just eradicate the amount of stuff that you have, and try to just keep it to things that are necessary, or things that you're really going to need. Like this is backup printer paper for my printer, so this is important. So I just want to show you some of the updates. I've been tidying the room up gradually, so I've not done it in one big chunk, I've done it step by step, and I find that easier because it's less stressful and I can just break it up into bits rather than being like overwhelmed with so much to tackle, because there was a lot to tackle and I was like, oh my god, there's no way I can do all that just in one go, because it was just too much to think about, you know. So I just thought, well, I'm gonna put it on my planner to do something every week, maybe splitting it up into weekends, like I'll have a day of a few hours doing it and tidying up. It's not perfect, but it's getting there. It's not quite where I want it to be yet. It needs to be more organised, and there's still bits of clutter that I'm sorting out and trying to get rid of. I mean, this is the extent of where I'm at now compared. The desk is tidier, bookshelf is tidier. Cameras are down the bottom now. I've got my trusty board here that I've been doing for my brainstorms for my assignments. And my to-do list has gone down. Now I've only got these 2 to do. The shelf is still a bit of a mess, although I've started putting something into the boxes. And you know, I love my music, so I've got these little boxes. They're sort of like material storage boxes. Some of them have lids, but this one is easier to access, so it's got an open top. These are all my CDs that I've had since I was a teenager, and they're just neatly presented on the floor. Obviously, you know, you could put them on a bookshelf or a CD rack or whatever, but I don't really like CD racks. I prefer things that are more compact and together, but it's up to you. So I want to be putting little trinkets and pens and things like that in boxes, or throwing out stuff that I have too many of, like I've got too many little pens and stuff. I'm just trying to think about space. I'm trying to think what is unnecessary, what don't I need, because it's that mindset that's going to help me to get rid of the excess stuff. And excess stuff is just going to make it harder for you to stay on top of it. So this is the thing, you've got to bag up, sell or recycle things that you just don't need, in order just to make things easier. So all the footage you've seen so far is actually a big improvement of my house. It was a lot worse than this, and I did take some videos, but I think I've accidentally deleted them, so I can't show you the before, but I'm telling you, it was a lot worse. As long as you're going in the right direction, that's all that matters. As an inattentive person, you're going to find that you naturally run away and avoid responsibility. And that's the way it's been for me. But you can't carry on going like that, because if you allow that behaviour, you're going to keep on doing that in all areas of your life, and it's just going to bog you down. You've got to learn to overcome it and have some self-discipline. Pick a day and a time and make a time slot for it. Make that dedicated time. Use your core tools to overcome it. Like I've said in previous videos, put it into your diary, your calendar, your phone alarm. Dedicate a time to it, because that way you can break it down and you can tailor that chore into something that is not going to dominate such a big part of your life. You can manage it in your own way that suits you. So I hope these tips help for you guys, and I hope that you get on top of that mess that is severely overdue getting on top of. Good luck, done.